Well, good evening once again from our NBC News headquarters here in New York. Day 292 of the Trump administration. 1 year ago tonight, it was the eve of the presidential election. Tonight was election night in races around this country, and one big one in particular. And here's the theory. If you believe that voters in Virginia voted for governor today with a wider message in mind, then tonight was a very bad night for the Trump-controlled Republican Party and a very good night for a Democratic Party in search of good news. Ralph Northam, the Democrat, is celebrating an easier-than-expected victory. He is governor-elect of the Commonwealth of Virginia, defeating the Republican Ed Gillespie, the former GOP party chair, now turned away in two major elections for Senate and governor. While traveling halfway around the world, the president rushed to distance himself from Gillespie, writing on Twitter from South Korea that, quote, Ed Gillespie worked hard but did not embrace me or what I stand for. And that is partially true. Gillespie didn't let Trump anywhere near him, but ran a campaign fueled and tinged by Trumpism. Here is a little bit of what Northam said at his victory speech in the last hour.
You know, it was said that the eyes of the nation are now on the Commonwealth. Today, Virginians have answered and have spoken. Virginia has told us to end the divisiveness, that we will not condone hatred and bigotry, and to end the politics that have torn this country apart.
Also tonight, a pickup for the Dems in New Jersey. Democrat Phil Murphy, former ambassador to Germany, former partner at Goldman Sachs, handily defeated Chris Christie's longtime lieutenant governor Kim Guadagno in that very blue state. As the numbers have rolled in tonight, our own Steve Kornacki's been at the big board tracking them. That is where he is right now. Steve, I was watching Chuck Todd at 5 o'clock. He didn't believe in the data. I don't think I believed in the data. I don't know if you believed in the data, but having said that, what just happened tonight?
You know, you can call this one the revenge of the suburbs. Let's take you through the road to victory here for Ralph Northam, the Democrat. By the way, that margin you're seeing there, 9 points, biggest margin for a Democrat in Virginia in the governor's race in 32 years. You got to go back to 1985. How did he put it together? Well, all the attention was on Ed Gillespie, the Republican, and what he was trying to do. He was trying to run on Trumpism. He was trying to run on cultural issues, on immigration, on these Confederate battle monuments and statues, on the M13 gang. He was trying to run on Trump issues, but he didn't bring Trump into the state. He didn't want to campaign arm in arm with Trump. Why? What was he trying to accomplish? There were two things. Number one, he was looking at Southwest Virginia. He was looking at sort of the rural part of the state. When Ed Gillespie ran for office here in Virginia a few years ago, he did okay down here. He wanted to do a lot more than okay. And Donald Trump, when he ran last year, absolutely owned it down here. So the attempt to run on Trump issues was to get Trump support down here in this part of the state. We can show you. You know what? Guess what? It kind of worked. Ed Gillespie, when he ran here 3 years ago, he only won this county, for instance, by 36 points. Tonight, wins it by over 50. That's what Trump did down there in Washington County. Kind of result you saw. So he got half of what he was looking for. But what's the other thing that Ed Gillespie was looking for? Northern Virginia, the suburbs, the college-educated suburbs right outside Washington, D.C. Almost a quarter of the state's vote is right in there. Now, here's the thing. Republicans always struggle in these suburbs, but when Donald Trump ran last year, he did worse than Republicans basically have ever done. So Ed Gillespie was looking at it and saying, well, I don't want to do Trump bad. I want to do normal Republican bad. If I can get the Trump numbers in the rural areas and I can do just normal Republican bad in the suburbs, I'm going to have the formula to win. Well, what actually happened? Here's where we can take a look at the story. Zoom in on these counties. I'll give you one that tells the whole story. This is Loudoun County right here, sort of a suburban, exurban county outside Washington. And what you see here, Ralph Northam wins it by 20 points over Gillespie. Guess what? When Ed Gillespie ran for the Senate 3 years ago, he won this county. Donald Trump last year against Hillary Clinton, he lost it by 17 points. The Gillespie theory was you don't bring Trump in, you don't get the Trump baggage in the suburbs, you can have that competitive showing that he had in 14. Instead, he did as bad. He even did a little bit worse than Donald Trump. And we saw that throughout these suburbs here in Northern Virginia. Here's another one, Ed Gillespie. He only lost Prince William County by 3 points 3 years ago for the Senate. Tonight, by 23. That's basically what Trump did last year. here. Northern Virginia, these suburbs, we saw this around the country, these suburbs, they did not like Donald Trump at all last year in the presidential election. They were very much against him then. They have not moved an inch toward him. In fact, they've moved even further from him. And tonight, it felt like, you look at these results, it really felt like the voters here, suburbs down by Richmond, they had been waiting since election night last year for the chance to do this. They saw Ed Gillespie's name on the ballot, and what they really saw there was Donald Trump, and they voted against Donald Trump tonight.
Boy, your headline, Steve, was right on. Revenge of the suburbs in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Steve, thanks so much.